Hello and welcome back to our weekly update of COVID-19 things that are happening here in Davie County. We try to get to you every week to give you the most pertinent updates. We hope you find this valuable. We'll continue to take feedback and we'll show you at the end of this presentation today how to get information to us if you have questions or things you want to hear more about. Today on the call we have our Emergency Operations Center folks here. Those who have new updates to give will be given those today, but we always want to keep them in front of you to be able to provide the most recent information to you today. So on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners and Assistant Manager Robin West, I'm John Eller, and we'll be diving into this week's session now. And the first thing we want to talk about today on this call is information we put out to the Chamber of Commerce. I know our Health and Human Services Department has been working with the Chamber as well, and we have what's called a Smart Restart Playbook, and that is for our business community to be able to refer to that on the website of the Chamber. We have lots of good information, business toolkit available, attachments that you can use at your businesses. So we hope that you'll go visit this site, look at it, and we'll find the information there valuable. And we'll continue to promote these items on our social media page as well. But it's a great resource that's out there. Appreciate all the hard work that went into this process so we can get the proper training that we need in place for COVID-19, but also understand what the state continues to give us as it relates to different phases that we're going through right now. So please refer to this site if you have any questions. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started today on the presentation. First up is our Health and Human Services weekly update from Ms. Suzanne Wright. Suzanne?
Thank you, Mr. Eller. Davie County has 82 total cases as of this morning. 42 remain sick and 2 of those are hospitalized. We continue to receive questions from our Facebook posts about whether or not positive case numbers are increasing because more testing is being done. So there have been a total of 481 tests completed in Davie County since the beginning of COVID-19. Between last Friday and yesterday, there were an additional 28 tests completed on Davie residents. During that same time frame, from Friday to yesterday, we had 20 new cases. We continue to test those that are symptomatic and those that have been in close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. North Carolina reported the first case of MIS-C last week, and MIS-C stands for multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. MIS-C is a condition where different body parts can become inflamed, including the heart, lungs, kidney, brains, skin, eyes, or gastrointestinal organs. Many children with MIS-C had COVID-19 or they had been around someone with COVID-19. So most children with MIS-C have a fever, a temperature of 100.4 or greater, and they usually have that fever for several days. In addition to the fever, they also have some of their symptoms may include irritability or decreased activity, abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, rash, conjunctivitis or pink or red eyes, both eyes typically, poor feeding, red cracked lips or red bumpy tongue that looks like a strawberry, swollen hands and feet, which might also be red. So look for those symptoms. If your child has a persistent fever and any of those symptoms, please reach out to your medical provider immediately. I know we saw cases of these in New York back in the beginning of May. And like I said, the first case was reported in North Carolina last week. So please be on the lookout. And since Mr. Eller discussed Smart Restart, I also wanted to provide another resource for our businesses. Count on Me NC is a free online training program to help restaurants, hotels, and other businesses learn the best ways to protect customers and employees from COVID-19. Businesses can participate in this no-cost training by visiting Count On Me NC, countonmenc.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wright, for all your hard work. We know that with the case increases that we're having and also the increase in testing, we know that all of you are busy right now, and continue to be. So thanks for your effort. We'll now go to Sheriff Hartman to give us any updates he has. Sheriff?
Thank you, John. Sheriff's Office has no new updates this week. We're continuing to work with the court system to prepare for reopening court next week, and that'll be our primary task for the rest of this week, to get ready for the public next week. And that's all I have for today, John.
All right, Sheriff. Thank you for all you and your officers do for us as well. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to our next speaker today. We have Mr. Brian Bird, our Emergency Services Director. Mr. Bird.
Good afternoon, John. No changes in emergency services this week related to coronavirus. The EMS office and the fire marshal's office, their call volumes are what we would expect or normal. Our nursing homes, extended living, and assisted living facilities received their 14-day supply of personal protective equipment last week. That was courtesy of FEMA and North Carolina Emergency Management. We were able to contact all these folks and make sure that they knew where to go and were able to get their supplies from the distribution center in Greensboro. Today, our focus is on the unexpected surprise I got this morning on the weather report related to Tropical Storm Bertha. Storm tracking across the state right now. We expect impacts in our area this afternoon through the evening. Heavy rain, wind gusts 20, 30 miles per hour. We'll respond as needed, and we'll be working with communications and fire departments to take care of whatever comes up. That's all we have for today, John.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. And we get questions a lot about what source should I turn to for updates regarding these storms. And typically we say follow your weather center, your news channel, or your radio. We typically try to follow their lead on those kind of things. Our expertise is in the response, but not the forecast. So, Mr. Bird, you have any thoughts to anybody wanting to know? Is that an accurate statement? Follow your typical newscast or radio station?
Yes, sir, John. That's exactly what you should do. We get questions a lot about folks wanting to know what's coming, what do I do, those types of things. There's so many resources out there. One of the best resources is realty.gov. Load it on your phone. It gives you recommendations what to do during a storm, what kind of supplies to put up, those types of things. It gives recommendations on using a weather radio. And personally, my best recommendations I get during a storm is watching my local forecast and local radar. So yes, sir, there's a lot of resources out there for us.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. So NC Ready is a good resource for everybody. So we appreciate you update and all that you and your crews are doing. Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on now to our next speaker. We have Mr. Johnny Lambert with us today, our Public Utilities Director.
Thank you, Mr. Eller. So not too many updates. We're still working under the executive order of the governor. To date, we've got no update if that executive order of suspending the disconnection, suspending all late penalties, and the payment plans are going to last any longer than June 1st. We're just waiting to get that information passed to us from the governor's office. So we're still working under that, but we still are asking everyone to please call our office. Please set up payment plans. We want to work with you in any way possible that we can moving on in the future. And to the businesses that are opening up, I know there's been some changes, and I know some businesses are beginning to open back up. And we just ask that you go to the CDC site and look up about, flushing water out of those lines, making sure that you've got clean water and the chlorine has been moved back through your pipes, through your buildings, so you don't have any taste and odor in your water before you resume normal use of your business. And that's all we have today for you, Mr. Eller. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate all you and your teams do too, Mr. Lambert. Today was a pretty quick update, everyone. So we just want to continue to do these weekly. If we have updates, we'll give them. If we don't, it'll be brief like today. But we don't want to forget, again, any questions that you may have or things that you may want to know more about. Feel free to go to the website on your screen there and get stuff to us. We want to hear from you. We hope you found this valuable again, and we'll continue to do this until we feel like everybody has the information they need. But thanks again for tuning in this week. And as always, our prayers go out to all those who are serving right now in Davie County, from our county government staff to our volunteers and our town partners and churches, and the list goes on and on. We're just glad that we're all in Davie County and all working together throughout this process. So with that, we'll wrap this week up and we'll see you again next week for our next update. Thank you.